Oh, now it's totally good.
Buddy. Joining. I've got some spring projects that are gonna be going into construction and some that we have bid that we're gonna be scheduling for construction, and then some public works items to talk about today as well. So exciting stuff. Project execution is my favorite part. Planning is not my favorite, but it's just something we have to do for projects to get them going, right? So first thing we're gonna talk about is phase 2 of Convention Center.
Yeah, oh, I know
software
that.
recoding On April 14th, instead of the week before, as we thought, on April 14th, scaffolding is gonna be set up at the Convention Center, unless George says otherwise. I'm gonna double check with George tomorrow, when I'm there for Razor Clan Festival, double check that works with him. But as of right now, 4/14 scaffolding will be set up. That will take a week or two. And then they'll start sandblasting again for the recoding. The project should be completed in mid-May. That will be weather dependent and also dependent on if George says work can't be done any certain week because of certain events. So that schedule will be completely up to George, just like last year. So I will stay in communication with him on that. And I'll also talk to him tomorrow if he has time, or as soon as he does have time, just about big events that are coming up so that I can communicate that with the contractor like we did last year. So we can get in front of it. Any questions on that one? Next is the 2 1 million gallon tank repairs. I feel like we've been talking about that one forever. It's finally gonna get off the ground in early May. DN Tanks was awarded that project. Coincidentally, in the like 1969, 1970, they built our tanks and they will be doing the repairs. We have concrete spalling, some rebar is exposed, they need to be resealed. They'll be doing those repairs and it'll take about 6 months. We do not have to drain the tanks. It is all exterior work for those. So any questions on that one?
Yes, I thought we had interior work that we needed done.
The interior work that you're thinking about is the 3 million gallon tank that's in the public works yard.
Yeah.
That tank has been drained and cleaned and refilled. So we're good to go on that one.
Thank you.
Welcome. Restriping pavement surface control, who did our striping in the fall, did a pretty not so great job on the white. So they're going to restripe at no cost to the city. They're gonna restripe everything that they did that was the white striping. And they're gonna be back as soon as the weather is good. We're planning for May, early May for that. They're gonna get us first on their schedule. And that includes the jetty area as well, the thermoplastic stuff that they melt down by the jetty. I'm not gonna say the roundabout. The roundabout is going to be done this year though, not by the public works crew. It will either be done when they're here or it will go out to bid. When we do we're gonna bid the rest of the city. I'm gonna get with Sarah and talk about the TBD money that we have, and then we'll take it to the TBD board and do the rest of the city so that that will be the cycle that we'll be on. And pay for it out of that budget. Since I've been with the city, we haven't used the TBD money, but our plan going forward is Sarah and I as a new team, Sarah in finance, me in project management, is to dive in and use that money. The city has a lot of it, so that's a perfect project. We also have the streets master plan now, so we'll be doing pavement preservation projects and plan on going to the TBD board and using those funds going forward.
Becky, how much money do we have?
2.4 million.
Okay, so we do have a lot.
And
Yep. In the first meeting in April, just to kick off as they prepare, I have talked to Alex at the first meeting in April, we will do what's called a material change order. And that's how we add stuff to the TBD budget that the council approves. And they're actually gonna bring forward those road repairs so that they can get going on that. They've already got the quotes, so just so while they get a plan of what the overall year and next year's plan is, we're utilizing that money to do these maintenance things that we could have used it for before.
So we're excited to start that going forward.
Why was it held back before?
I don't think people knew the actual process.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Therefore, the money was actually approved to be utilized out of the TBD board for, I believe it was the road, or no, excuse me, it was the master plan. However, it was done in the improper way. So when I caught it at the end of the year, it couldn't be fixed because it didn't go in front of the TBD board. It just went in front of the council, who is the TBD board, but it's gotta go to a special meeting, and there's a ton of provisions. And a lot of those can be found on MRSC if anybody's interested.
I didn't know what it was for, and Angie was going out, and when Sarah came in to finance, she said, we got all this money, we need to start using it, this is what we can use it for, and then together we were kind of like, what? So, yeah, it's gonna be pretty great going forward for us. Then we've got, the Emerson Park Tennis Court resurfacing, and we're adding pickleball stripes there, which is gonna be pretty cool, because that's getting to be a hot sport. Pacific Ace LLC has been awarded that contract, and I'm gonna work, Jenny right now is working through paperwork with them, that it might actually be done. The resurfacing for tennis courts, the vendor Pacific Ace said that the temperature has to be like 60 or 65 degrees. It's warmer than paint surface temperature has to be. It's more of a specialty product. So I'm gonna work with them basically when the temperature is warm enough, they'll be out here to get that done, and I'll keep everybody in the loop in the Parks Board as far as when we get that scheduled, when they can get out here. But that's gonna be really nice to get done, so balls will bounce straight the way they're supposed to. And the Chance Alamere parking striping by the Shiloh Inn is, the streets department is going to start working on that probably late May, early June. If we have an early spring, they'll be able to do it sooner, but the surface area has to be dry for a while and warm enough for the paint. So, but Alex's crew is going to run a striping machine and get that done. And when they have that striping machine, they may work on the basketball court at North Bay and other striping that we need in town, other parking lots. We should just probably take care of if the library needs it, or, whatever we need that we would maybe bid out other years. So we'll work on that as well, just different striping for the city areas. And then green waste drop off is picking up again Saturday, April 5th, and it'll run Saturdays through September 27th. Time for that is 11 to 3:30. So we're excited to be offering that again. And then I have spring cleanup on here, but I don't have the date.
I do.
Good.
Yeah, I do.
I thought you
And-
probably would.
Yeah, all right, so I'll jump in. So April 24th to the 28th, from 8 in the morning till 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Same thing as always, 165 Ocean Lake Way. And yes, we are scheduling home pickups for people, and that'll be done both by the Ocean Shore Street Department and by Defenders of the Coast. So people can take advantage of that service. And then I just thought it might be a good idea to talk. Tim, do you want to tell them about the T-Mobile grant, the backstop that we're looking for that community grant that we're trying to get for
Both
North
of
Bay
them
Park?
or the,
No, just the T-Mobile grant.
that's
for the backstop.
the T-Mobile's different. It's the
Right.
Grace Harbor County.
Sorry, say T-Mobile is to say yes, apologies. Talk about the T-Mobile grant for the
Okay,
state and the backdrop for a backstop for.
Okay, there's a couple of grants I'm going after, pretty close to closing one out. The first one's T-Mobile, it's called a T-Mobile hometown grant. And, it was real interesting because when I read through all the video, I watched the video that they had, and what they did was they went to a rodeo arena in Texas, and they built a stage because they, like us, they have a lot of events with bands that play, and they built them a stage. And so I got in contact with George and I asked him, what would you like to have for this, for a stage? And he said, I'd really like a mobile stage. So he looked into it and he found a really cool mobile stage. It can be towed by a regular truck, and it can be stored inside the building in inclement weather. You know, it can be used inside too. So T-Mobile hopefully will come through on that, and we'll have a nice new stage for all of our cool events that we have, instead of that big giant trailer that they have all the time.
George has also said that he could rent it, so
Yeah.
he could generate revenue.
Generate some revenue with it. And then the other project is the backstop for the baseball field at North Bay Park is a little small, right? I think it's a
It's not
little.
professional back.
Yeah, it could be bigger or at least taller at the least. And so Grace Harbor Community Foundation is what it's called, is funding for that. So I'm gonna apply for that and see if we can get enhancements to that backstop.
I mean, the field already looks beautiful right now. It has a totally different feel. Everything looks great. Like the one thing we're missing is that if we can put that together, we've got a really good baseball field for our kids and for the North Senior High School. So. I don't have anything else. Any questions from council?
No, the park looks great. I was there just the other day. So what an improvement.
I have one thing, we met with Herrera, who's doing our lake and watershed master plan, but we met with him about something separately that we're excited about. They're working on a proposal. They're gonna work with us on our lake and canal plant issue that we have. Because the lake and watershed master plan is mostly to work with us on getting the phosphorus out of the water and the toxic algae out of the water, but not necessarily the plants and the milfoil, right, and the parafeather. So they're gonna work with us on the bid package to go out this season and what went wrong last year with what we did to treat the lake and canal and what can we do better this year. So we're really excited to work with them on that.
It was a very good meeting and we learned a lot.
Mhm.
And we seem to have found the right people to help address these issues that went wrong last year.
Feel like we're on track.
Would that be done though for this season?
Yes.
That's what we're working
Yeah, we're gonna get the bid out earlier this year than the last couple of years, and they mentioned that the vendors that we've used the past, maybe ever, were never, there's a chemical that can be used, it's not toxic, and you can use it outside of the fish
The fish
window,
window.
and it's for what we have, it's for the plants that we have that are.
But only certain, very, very few people are licensed
To
to
use
use
it.
that. It's a very stringent licensing requirement.
But Terry
but
McNabb
they-
is licensed to use it and he's in the area.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so.
So the beauty of this is the plants as they're just starting to grow can be killed instead of when they're at full foliage and covering up, you know, the whole canal, and then we kill it and it all falls in there and rots. So we get way ahead of it. There'll be less dying plant matter in the water if we use that.
Really hopeful that last year's problems won't reoccur with this solution, so.
You have
I
any
think-
information for us on the water main break? Or the water line break?
It wasn't a water main break. It wasn't a main break. It was just a small pipe that hadn't been marked, had been in there for a long, long time, and they didn't have it marked down, so it got hit and they fixed it in just a short period of time.
So just an accident rather than something wearing out.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
hit, but
Yeah,
they're
it
doing
was hit.
work. It wasn't marked. They didn't know it existed. And it wasn't, we thought it was something very large. It wasn't. It was.
Guess that's it.
Council, anything else? Lisa, Griebel, anything?
No questions, thank you.
Okay, all right. We conclude this meeting
We're
then.
good. Thanks,
All right.
everyone.
Thank you so much. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.